Hey, what's up, everybody? I know y'all sick of me. I hope you guys are doing good today. I am doing well. Listen, y'all not gonna believe me when I say this, but I say this in all honesty. I completely forgot that I had not done the Heart and Hustle Houston review. I completely forgot. So this is the Heart and Hustle Houston review, season 1, episode 4, I think. I am so sorry, y'all. You know what it is? Love and Marriage Huntsville takes so much out of me, y'all. Like, I'm not even playing with y'all. Oh, it's packed. Where everybody at? I'm sorry, y'all. I'm near my house. I just got done. I was at the GZ Orchestra, and you know how when you go do something, you know, when you hit a little 1-2, you be feeling open to doing something else. So I'm looking around, and I saw a bunch of cars. I saw a bunch of cars in the parking lot, not too far from my house. I'm like, what y'all doing? I need to come in there? Anyway, I'm not going. I'm going home. I'm on my way home. I already made a little stop. I'm going home. Orchestra was cool. It wasn't long enough. That was my problem. Anyway, let's talk about this show. All right. And I'm not going to do any screen grabs or screen records in the essence of time. We're just going to talk about the show and get this done. Let me tell y'all something. If I got to discuss our friendship in depth with my therapist, just forget it. Just forget it. These girls are doing a lot of talking to their therapists about these friendships. Now, granted, yes, you might bring up your friendship in therapy like, oh, this friendship is really important to me. And, you know, I'm having trouble navigating this, and this part of it. Like, maybe those things might come up, you know, navigating friendships. But as far as, like, your friendship being a source of stress to the point where you got to go to the lady about it, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know if that's a friendship you need to explore. And I'm going to butcher these names tonight because I have no notes in front of me. So I'm about to butcher them for sure. Dark-skinned lady, Lateria, is that her name? She's the one talking to her therapist this week. Last week it was Ro. And so she asked the lady, will she come to a group dinner that the girls are having and maybe they can hash some stuff out? I don't think any of this is a good idea, and I just think that if you got to bring a therapist to the table for the friendship, then no. But this is a reality show, so let's just roll with it. Okay, I want to get to the main points of this episode, and really this episode talks a lot about parenting. So Labrina lets us in on the fact that she has an older son, and when he's with his daddy, it's like all the rules are out the window, right? So she doesn't really know exactly how to rectify that situation because she wants her son to do well and be successful. But she also knows when you're parenting between two households, it can be different, right? She ends up inviting her parents over for dinner, and that whole scene irritated me. And I think it also irritated Labrina's husband because it was moments where he was like, all right, then, you know, it was good seeing y'all. Like, he was ready for the whole thing to be over. He did end up ushering Labrina's dad out so Labrina could have a one-on-one with her mom, which I thought was good because the daddy, I could tell he was about to cut up something extra special. Not in a messy way, but more so in a way of like, her dad just wasn't receiving anything like Labrina was saying. So they were having a conversation about what age is appropriate for your children to leave the home. And Labrina lets them know that although she left the home around 18, she wasn't ready to leave the home around 18. Like, there were so many things that she didn't know. She was still a baby. Like, she still needed to be nurtured. And so she can't imagine putting her son out when he still needs to be nurtured and there's still things he needs to learn the way that she was put out. The daddy definitely wasn't trying to receive that, and he was about to get to it, you know. Both of the parents were just kind of like, oh, you know, that may have happened to you, but we only wanted the best for you. And look how you turned out. You turned out well. You figured it out. The mama even says, like, we had rules in place at the time. There were rules in place in my house that you didn't want to follow. And so when those rules aren't followed, you got to go. And even Labrina was just like, yeah, the rules wasn't followed. Okay, cool. But there was no grace given. Like, I was a child. I was still learning. And that is true. You a damn fool till you about 24, 25. and sometimes even beyond that. And there are things that need to be instilled in you, and that is the parent's job to do. I agree with that. So Labrina felt like she was kind of put out at the slightest offense. Like, you didn't even give me a chance to learn and grow. It was just kind of like, oh, you disobeyed my rules, get out. Right? So once the daddy is taken out of the picture by the husband, they go off and do their own thing. Her and the mom talk, and she's pretty much letting her mother know, I wasn't ready to move out the house. Y'all put me out that house. You put me out that house. And while I agree that I understood a little bit of the mama side, but not really, because I've always been a firm believer that if you're going to be living at home, you need to follow the rules of the home. Like at my mama house, I had a curfew. When I came home for college, I had a 12 a.m. curfew. My mama did not care that I had went off to school and I literally had my boyfriend staying in my room. She didn't care about none of that. You still need to be home in my house by midnight. And then sometimes she would extend it to 1. Those are the rules. It wasn't no spending the night nowhere. Those are the rules at my mama's house. So if I continued to break my mama's rules and my mama was like, all right, you want to do what you want to do, you need to go on back to school and stay there, she would have been well within her rights to do so, in my opinion. Same thing with having babies. You go out and you start bringing more people in my house. 1, okay, maybe I didn't teach you about safe sex. You do it again, and baby, the kids can stay, but you got to go. Because what you think this is? This ain't no whole house. This ain't no daycare. You need to get it together, because I know I done taught you something. At least if I didn't teach you on the first baby, I taught you on the second. Right? So I do understand that rules have to be followed, but I also think you have to give your children a little breathing room. They may mess up. They may not understand why you have these rules. They may feel like you're just being a parent that doesn't want them to have a good time. There may be a little bit of flexibility that can be found in the rules, but there has to be conversations for growth. I feel like a lot of times with Black parents, especially with their girls, we were not taught to date. We were not taught to court. We were not taught about boys in a way that was non-threatening. Everything was, you better not get pregnant, and these boys only want you for one thing, and you better not. Everything was what you bet not do, and everything sounded like a threat. So when you did meet a boy and the boy was the total opposite of what your mother said, and he was nice and he was kind and possibly even telling you really nice things, it's no wonder you got pregnant by him within 3 to 4 months. And I'm not speaking on my story. I'm just saying in general. It's no wonder that you are blindsided by a lot of these things, because nobody taught you. Nobody taught you what it means for a young man to court you. You were under nobody's tutelage. Okay? So a lot of these young pregnancies that happen, child, these girls don't have no idea what they're doing. The boy like them. The boy want to have sex with them. They don't know anything about, some of these girls don't know about condoms. They don't even really understand how you get pregnant. I remember hearing some young girls discuss one time, if you had anal, you were still a virgin. Baby, I ain't never had no anal. Okay? And I'm being real with you. I'm a grown ass woman. I can't even wrap my head around it. So the fact that some young girls was talking about it, I was like, this is crazy. But the fact that they thought that meant they were still a virgin, you see how like young-minded that is, right? There's just so many things to learn. That's all I'm saying, because I know I'm rambling at this point. But that conversation was a lot. Labrina said it did a lot for her. She thought it was good. I didn't think it was good. I didn't feel like her mother and her father were receiving anything that she was saying. Matter of fact, her mama came back with something I can't stand. Well, you wasn't the only one who had to learn fast and who had to. I'm so tired of that. Once you bust it open and have some kids, once it's your pleasure, I don't want to hear no more about how you grew up. You take that to your therapist. Don't take it to your child. Like, I understand what you're saying. You didn't get the tools and all of that stuff either. But if you didn't have the tools, I sure wish you would have went ahead and not had no kids. If you didn't feel like you had the tools. And maybe you didn't know until later. Maybe you thought kids was having a game. Was just a game. But I just really do not appreciate parents covering their bad parenting with, oh, well, nobody taught me either. I'm very passionate about that, as you can tell. Let me move on because I'll talk about this all day. I thought it was sweet that Munira's husband and her mom kind of came to a resolution. I thought it was really, really nice. Um, at first, I thought Munira was creating a problem where there was none, but now I'm realizing that she believes she's behaving and performing as less than a mother and less than a wife, and nobody can fix that but her, because nobody else is upset with her but her. Her mom's not upset. Her husband's not upset. The kids don't seem to be upset. She feels like she's not doing enough, and it's internal. So it's something she got to work out. There's no amount of validation that anybody can give her to make her feel any better. That's what I noticed. As far as her and this whole looking young thing, I'm not rehashing that. I think it's silly, and I think it's misplaced, and I'm not coming up off that. Now, Chloe, you need to listen to that man. Now, that man, I don't know how long he gonna be around in your life. I don't think that you guys are going to go long term, because you were bringing up a lot of issues that he's not thinking about. And when he said you were still going to be fine at 60 and you just got to work out and do that, let me know he young as hell. He don't really know how hormones and how life work. It don't matter. You might work out, but you still at 60, you still going to look a little different. So, baby, please. So that let me know a little something. He ain't ready for all that a grown woman entails, but, keep having your fun. However, when that man said you doing too much with your son and you coddling him, I'm going to have to agree. Two things can be true at once. You may have made a misstep in handing him over responsibility and not asking him and not checking in with him to see if he was grieving. My mom just revealed, I hope my mama don't mind me saying, my mama don't know I got a channel, first of all, but we had a conversation around Mother's Day, and she told me, and it broke my heart, but I have tried my best to understand where she was coming from. But she told me that when she got divorced, I was around 12 when they separated, and that she had 2 other children. I had grown up with a lot of love around me, and they did not. Their father was leaving, and she felt like, well, she's good. I need to put my all and my care and concern into these other 2 children. And she was like, I really wasn't worried about you. I needed your help, and I felt like you were okay. And that was really hard for me to hear, because I just can't imagine thinking a 12-year-old was good, and that I did not need to be checked in on. But I do give my mother grace, because she was a young mother with 3 children. She was about to navigate a divorce, and she needed my help. Shit. I mean, that's the bottom line of it. She did. And so when Chloe was saying that, I actually applauded her for recognizing that she may have made a misstep. But now let's get to that son. That is no excuse for that boy. I've never spoken to my mother like that. And I didn't care what was going on, because I couldn't deny the fact that my mama was keeping a roof over my head. I couldn't deny the fact that if I needed to come back home after college, she would have continued to keep a roof over my head. Nobody put me out, right? Did she expect me to perform as an adult? Yeah, I think she thought I was good, as I grew into adulthood. But nobody said I could not come back home, all right? And if I was at home, I don't think the expectation would have been for me to be paying a whole bunch of bills or any of that. And so, for your son to speak to you the way that he's speaking to you is out of line. For him to say to you, well, you was living at grandma's, you ain't helping her with nothing. You ain't helping her do nothing. Nigarachi, how do you know? You wasn't there. And when Chloe was like, I was hustling, I was in school, I was getting my money, I was about to start my business, but you wasn't paying no bills. Don't try to use what I was doing as an excuse for what you're going to, for the lack of that you're doing. Like my mama said one time, I may not have been the best parent, but I kept a job. She had said that to my brother one time. I was employed. I stayed employed. Don't try to make it seem like I was a bum and I wasn't doing nothing because you want to make it okay for you to be a bum in my house. I wasn't no bum. I was trying to get my life together. That's why I wasn't paying bills. What's your excuse? What do I look like? A rapper? Yeah. Baby, he would have had to get out that same day. It would have been a return to sender. I would have tried to abort him 24 years later. Get back in here so I can abort you. You got me effed up talking to me. That's why I can't be no parent, because I'm out of line. There's no way you're sitting here talking to me like that. And yes, I know you've been through a lot. Yes, I'm sure you're irritated with me for dating somebody around your age. I have a life. If you don't want to get a bird's eye view of my life, then I suggest you get your own place, pay your own bills, live in your own space, and you ain't got to see nothing I'm doing. I will get a babysitter for these girls. That's what you need to do, Chloe. See, you done relied on him too much. And that's another thing. You can't lean into your kids like they another parent, because then they start disrespecting you like they your husband. And not saying your husband can disrespect you, but they start disrespecting you like they on your level is what I'm saying. Because I've tried to come at my mama. I was not tried to come at my mama, but I was doing things in the home that were disrespectful. Not with my words, but with my actions. Because in my mind, I was grown. I'm helping you with these kids. And maybe that is how her son feel. But it's more so, her son don't want to perform. And that's always been my problem with kids who get disrespectful. Like, you ain't even doing nothing. It would be different if you was mouthing off and you ain't even getting yourself together. When the last time I seen you in the studio? Baby, she was reading. And he ain't have nothing to say. And so I agree with old boy. Like, that ain't his daddy and ain't gonna be his daddy. And yeah, he might have a problem with you dating younger. But the main issue is you're not even doing what you're supposed to do. So you being mad at me is a separate issue. But you're not going to walk around this house, not speak to me, not talk to me, disrespect me, tell me what I have and haven't done when I have built myself up to this point. What are you doing? What are you doing? And I think she is a parent that's willing to help him do whatever it is he's trying to do, but he's trying to do nothing. So when I saw Chloe at the table crying about what kind of mother she's been, okay, yes, you can make amends, but that's not an excuse for his talking to you like that, or him not getting himself together and getting in position as an adult man. No excuse. Sorry. He needs to kick in. Okay? Common sense needs to kick in. So I'm trying to think of what else happened that was a big deal. Oh, child, Latoria's friend coming up in there with receipts of when she met Latoria and all this other stuff. Child, why was she even there? Like, I was barely paying attention. We're going to talk about her more next week because it was so out of place to me. Then she called Ro the B word, and I was just like, is this the drama? Is she going to be the drama? Because I'm already tired. But Chloe, hey, get that grown-ass man out your basement. He need to get a job. Okay? Rapping is not... He need to get a job. And if he... Give him 30 days. And if he ain't got nothing planned out, tell him the military, we are short. Okay? You need to come up with a plan for your life that's not rapping. And if you ain't got one, you better get a babysitter for them girls, because ain't nobody got time for this. Go get him an apartment. Give him 90 days to kick in on the rent. Okay? I mean, grow up. Nobody has time for this. You're not a terrible mother. You're not. Would I be bothered if my mama dated a younger man? Yes. But if my mama was my livelihood, how mad can I be? Munira, nobody thinks you're a bad mother but you. Get it together. Latoria, I still got my eye on you. Elena, get your marriage together and quit taking it out on everybody else. Ro, just continue, I guess. New friend, who the hell are you? And did I forget anybody? Labrina, it couldn't be me. Actually, it has been me. But as far as your parents, if you feel like you got something out of it, good. But your mama was real fugazi for that comment. Hush, girl. You had me, I didn't have you. Like, comment, and subscribe. I'll see y'all for the next one. Bye.